Presented by
All right, last spot.
the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under register for the low cost of $20.
Yeah, I was like, what can we do? Oh, yeah, we can use all the time we have before the fan forum to and ask Derek exactly what he wants.
Exclusive giveaway access and their own membership package. To register your cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
This is the Baylor Football Postgame Fan Forum. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today.
And I made a note about the rejoins. We'll get them fixed this week.
The official hospital healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. HEB, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics. Proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your bank for life. The official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now. Nissan. Innovation that excites. Get ready for all the post-game action. Started right now.
Baylor 31, Air Force 3. A strong second half results in a dominant win for the Bears to close out non-conference action here in this 2024 season. The Bears are 2-1 heading into Big 12 play next week. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on the Fan Forum alongside Baylor legend, All-American Bryce Hager. I'm Derek Smith. It was a game that was tenuous early. The Bears fumbled 3 times in the first half, snuffing out promising drives and really overshadowing strong play by Sawyer Robertson, who was thrust into starting action this week. He had a strong game. The running game was great as well. And once the Bears held on to the football, they won this game going away by a score of 31-3. If you want to join in the conversation, there's 2 ways to do so. You can tweet us your thoughts using the hashtag BUFanForum. That is hashtag BUFanForum. Or you can go to the Baylor Athletics YouTube page. We are streaming from the broadcast booth here at McLean Stadium. If you go to youtube.com/Baylor Athletics, you can see the link, and there's a comment section on there where you can leave your comments for us to discuss tonight. Bryce Hager, all in all, 31-3. I think if you'd said before the game that would be the final score, we'd have all felt pretty good. I think the route Baylor took to get there was a little bit strange in the first half, but luckily strong play by Sawyer Robertson in the running game really overshadowed that.
Yeah, definitely. Starting the first half off was slower than we all wanted. I mean, coming in with a new quarterback for this game, there was a lot of anticipation. We found out a couple hours before kickoff, and so we're excited to see what Sawyer could bring to the table. And I think after he settled down, we all were excited with what we saw. He was able to sit in the pocket, make his reads, make good throws. He ended up having 8, 9 different targets, meaning spreading the ball around to our playmakers, which was great to see that from. And coming out of halftime, the defense really dialed in on the triple option. They weren't able to do anything in the second half, and we kind of just took over the game. And that's kind of what we were expecting this whole time.
He had poise. The numbers bear that out tonight. He was 18 of 24 for 248 yards. He also added a touchdown on the ground, one of 3 rushing touchdowns tonight for the Bears. And Bryce, I think this offensive line is young. It has struggled at times, but today really a solid day. Baylor moved the football 230 yards on the ground, just over 6 yards per carry. Even take away the couple of the longest runs Baylor had, a 34-yarder by Bryson Washington, a 28-yard touchdown run by Richard Reese. You're still talking about a team that was moving the football at about 4.5, 5 yards per pop. Sawyer Robertson was sacked just once. He was not hurried. Beyond that, there were a couple of times he had to move out of the pocket, but I thought the offensive line did a solid job in allowing the offense to execute. And if they don't fumble, we're talking about a much bigger blowout.
Yeah, a game like this, you really want to lean into your offensive line, get them feeling good, getting the run game established early, trying to control the time of possession. But going against a team like Air Force and the triple option, it's going to be very tough to get that time of possession battle won. But being able to average or get over 200 yards rushing, I think that's a very good good step in the right direction. Having the running game strong really opens up the passing game. So I think that encouraged and helped Sawyer get comfortable towards the second half. And so if they can build off that going into next week, I think we'll have a fun game to watch.
Well, and before the game, we learned that DeQuan Finn would not start. He's dealing with a number of issues, some injuries in his day-to-day, which day-to-day means he could be back as we head into next week. But I think a lot of the conversation this week is going to be about the job Sawyer Robertson did. It was the best quarterback play that we've seen this year, and he looked comfortable and poised, and I think that's going to be a lot of the chatter this week heading into Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think Sawyer did a great job of stepping up, controlling the offense, moving the ball, hitting different receivers, putting in the ball in different playmakers' hands. And so everything he did today, I think he did a great job. And if he's continued to keep that position, I think the offense and the team can benefit from what he did tonight and moving forward.
Craig Rogers tweeted in his thoughts to us. Said he thought Sawyer Robertson looked really good against Air Force's defense, but his passing game a little more developed than DeQuan Finn's. And I think it is more developed in some ways. Now they bring different skill sets. I mean, if DeQuan Finn had looked a little more settled in the first couple games, we'd probably be raving about what he can do with his legs. But Sawyer Robertson did play in that, really not so different than what we see here, that high power spread offense at Lubbock as a high school student. And he's obviously very comfortable in this offense, certainly appeared to be tonight.
Yeah, I mean, in these kind of offenses, I mean, the quarterback's job is to be able to throw the football, spread the ball around, be comfortable in the pocket, and be able to make plays with your feet when necessary. And I think they both can do that. And the last couple of weeks, it's kind of been which guy's going to be able to do it better for longer down the stretch. And from what I saw tonight from Sawyer, I think he really is going to make the case hard for which one you're going to lead with going forward if Finn is feeling good and healthy to move forward.
He's one starter fans will be talking about. Another one was Bryson Washington. And, Bryce, sometimes you can just tell the way the coaches talk about a guy that you haven't seen a whole lot. Sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, fill in the name of freshman or transfer you haven't seen. He's been impressive. But then there's some that they kind of gush about almost. Coach Aranda's not a gusher. But every time he talks about Bryson Washington, there's obviously some admiration. He talks about the things he's able to do well on the field. He's got size. He's got a burst. And we saw that tonight. Washington, 12 carries for 106 yards and a touchdown. He also had a catch for the Bears for 23 yards. So he combined, he gave the Bears almost 130 all-purpose yards this evening. And man, I saw a couple people on social media say he looks like a guy who has maybe not quite the speed, the burst of speed like Richard Reese, but he's got a burst, and then he's got some of the size of Dawson Pendergrass. So you've really got a guy, who gives you a little bit of both, and he elevated himself in this one game amidst a pretty good running back room.
I mean, anytime you have options and guys you can rely on. I mean, I think he really stepped up today. And anytime you got a guy you can have 12 carries and over 100 yards, it's a good day for your running back, and that's a great job on the offensive line, moving the guys in the trenches. And so if they can build off their performance tonight going into next week, that's just going to give those guys more and more confidence to not only run the ball and get the running backs more involved in the passing game. Because if you can do both, that just opens up a lot more to your offense, and that can get Spav a lot more options moving forward down the year. So it's exciting to see what comes out of that.
You talk about balance. Baylor 248 yards through the air, 230 yards on the ground for 478 total. Pretty close to 50-50 there. Baylor didn't even put the ball in the air in the fourth quarter, and when they did, Bryce, let's talk about what Sawyer Robertson was able to do. You mentioned that he spread the ball around. Cameron, 5 catches. Hawkins, 4 for 81. Michael Trigg, 4 for 49. Then Washington, Pendergrass, Baldwin, Reese, and Bell each had a catch for the Bears tonight. It wasn't just that he spread it around. You mentioned his progressions when we were talking before the broadcast. What did you see about his ability to process what was in front of him?
Well, anytime you are coming off the bench, it doesn't matter what kind of experience you have. Anytime there's a new season, you're playing your first game, there's nerves, the game's a little bit faster until you get comfortable. And so what I saw tonight, I think he did a great job of staying in the pocket, reading through his progressions. After if his first look wasn't there, went to his second look. And even when he kind of got out of the pocket, his eyes stayed downfield. He didn't look at his first progression, tuck and run. He would look from his first progression, get out of the pocket, move a little bit, and if he saw someone, he would throw it down the field. And so seeing that kind of right off the bench, and as the game went on, he got more comfortable. And so if you can continue that, I think that's going to be great for the stretch of the season.
Bears win this one 31-3 over Air Force to improve to 2-1 on the season. Bryce, got to ask you about the defense. Baylor keeps Air Force out of the end zone. We've seen a tweet we need to verify that says this is the first time a non-service academy has kept them out of the end zone since 2003. We need to verify that. But whatever the case, this is an offense that even in a year when they're not as talented as some, still creates problems. Guys can break out, shake loose. Pretty impressive. Outside of a few drives in the first half, Baylor really stifled them and keeps them out of the end zone for 60 minutes.
Well, it speaks volumes, too, of Coach Aranda and his staff going into the second half. First half was a little shaky, trying to get a figure of the flow of how they were doing the quarterback runs, the dives to the end-around outside plays, a couple passes in the first half. And so with the triple option, you usually have a week to study and digest what kind of offense you're going against. And no one really runs that triple option anymore. So that whole week for a lot of those guys is the first time they see it or learn how to play against it. And so the fact that they were able to go into halftime really, really digest on what they're seeing and getting those coaching points across, I think the defensive staff did a great job. And that way we were able to shut them out in the second half. And I think they did a great job adjusting on the fly after halftime.
Baylor hasn't allowed a touchdown at home this season through 2 games. And Bryce, a lot of the attention, and I was guilty of it too, and I know as a defensive guy, you're like, yeah, you know how this is. All the attention was on the new offense, the spread. And it's shown some signs of some things to look forward to, some hopeful signs. But the defense is being called by Coach Aranda. He's really taken over more defensively. Through 3 games, how many long offensive touchdown drives has this defense allowed? 1. It was that Cam Rising touchdown drive that resulted in the Money Parks touchdown on a misdirection play at that. The other touchdowns that Utah scored last week were on the blocked field goal, obviously, and when the offense gave Utah the ball at the 3-yard line. I don't care who you're playing, especially when you throw in a good team like Utah. One legit touchdown drive through 3 games says something about what they're capable of.
Yeah, a big a point you want to get across to your defense is if you can minimize explosive plays, that really takes care of half the battle. So if you can eliminate those big plays that offenses can create and hold them to where they have to drive the field, where there's more opportunity for mistakes, more opportunities for penalties, for turnovers, that gives you a chance to get them off the field. And so if our defense continues to minimize those big explosive plays, Coach Aranda and the Baylor defense will be very happy where they end up at the end of the season.
31-3, the final score. The Bears defeat Air Force tonight at McLean Stadium, 2-1 on the season, undefeated through 2 games at home. We're brought to you by Rudy's Barbecue. Rudy's, proud sponsor Baylor football. Stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Later on the program, we'll look at other games today. We'll get Big 12 scores and look ahead to next week. We'll, of course, take a look at the top players in this game on Coffee is for Closers. But coming up next, the vocal stylings of John Morris and J.J. Joe. Will listen back to some of the big plays in this game on our Green and Gold Rewind segment when we return after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
First Central Credit Union is cheering for the Bears. Our team advantages are 5% APY free reward checking. Enjoy ATM-free refunds and be on the winning side with direct deposits 2 days early. Huddle up with First Central to make deposits 24/7 at our ATMs and suit up in a free new member t-shirt. Visit online at firstcentralcu.com. Everything we do for you.
Eligibility and application requirements apply. APY equals annual percentage yield. Member NCUA.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
It's Ram Power Days at Allen Samuels in Waco. Get the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab with an incredible $15,000 off MSRP. Or drive away in a 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab with $10,000 off MSRP. A great selection with over 350 new to choose from. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Hurry into Allen Samuels in Waco today. First responders get an extra $500 off.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Are you a proud Baylor?
Hey, Derek.
Do you love prizes? The Baylor Sports app allows.
So this is the one where it says Elliot. It'll say Derek, and then it'll say, and Elliot. I'm just going to pot it down and up real quick, and it'll still have some intro trail for you.
Sports.com. Baylor Sports app straight to your phone. Prizes this year are better than ever, so start earning your points today.
We're breaking down today's game on the Fan Forum. To join in the conversation, tweet your thoughts with hashtag #BUFanForum or leave your comments on the YouTube or Facebook live streams. Now, back to Derek.
It is time for Green and Gold Rewind segment as we look back at the big plays in this game. Highlights from the voice of the Bears, John Morris, J.J. Joe, and Ricky Thompson. Baylor 31-3 winners today over Air Force to improve to 2-1 on the year. Bryce Hager, Derek Smith here with you at McLean Stadium. And Bryce, as we relive this game, we're going to see that the first half was the second half was a lot better than the first half. Baylor struggled to hold on to the football. You know, it's always dangerous to play the what-if game because it didn't happen. You know, the game is what it was. But this felt like a game that Baylor just holds on to the football. You know, we're probably talking about a total rout of this Air Force team. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, I believe 2 of those 3 fumbles, we could have had 14 more points on the board. And so we need to take care of the football. That can be something that really shoots yourself in the foot moving forward. And I thought the special teams really stepped up this game too, creating their own turnover with the block punt. I'd love to see your guys stay on their feet with a scoop and score there, trying to a little redemption from last week, giving one up and trying to take one back this week. But got to hold on to the ball, got to protect it. And, I think we left some points out there, but overall, pretty pleased.
Well, the first half really did, to some extent, begin with a bang for the Bears. They allow Air Force to move the ball just a bit. They hold the they moved the ball down the field 13 plays, but in the end, just 23 yards. A drive that took almost 7.5 minutes off the clock. But Baylor forces them to punt, and Baylor, in fact, blocks the punt. However, they are unable to advance the football. They have to settle for an Isaiah Hankins field goal to take a 3-0 lead. But that was some really good collaboration. Caleb Parker gets a hand in there on the punt. Caleb Parker had himself a nice day for the Bears special teams and on defense.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can spark a play, football's divided into 3 phases: defense, offense, and special teams. And so a lot of people overlook the special teams aspect of football. And so anytime you can create an explosive play to bring momentum back, if offense is lacking or your defense is lacking, you can steal a possession or you can create a big play to get the stadium and the sidelines rocking. I love when special teams create plays like that. You love to see touchdowns after block punts or get a little bit more excitement out of that. But anytime you can get a play like that, that's super exciting.
Well, it spotted the Bears 3 points, and they opened up a 3-0 lead. By the way, Bryce, you mentioned the crowd. Sellout crowd tonight officially. I thought at times it was as loud as it's been in about 2 or 3 years here. The second half, when the Bears offense really got going, it was loud. I think it's going to be louder. You want it to be louder as the year goes on, but I thought that was a good sign of the win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the second home game of the year, if you could have a packed house, everyone wearing the blackout gear and matching the uniforms, the stadium looked great, uniforms looked great, so I thought it was a great start for the second home game.
So the Bears led 3-0 off to that good start, but unfortunately things got stuck in the mud a bit. Baylor's next 4 drives looked like this. Fumble, turnover on downs, fumble. Luckily, Air Force fumbled the ball as well late in the first half to give the Bears another field goal we'll talk about in a minute. But Bryce, nothing too fancy here. You got to hold on to the football. And each fumble was a little bit different, but 2 came after big plays. And I get guys are trying to make a big play, and you Air Force got a couple of big hits in there. But whether you're Michael Trigg, Dawson Pendergrass, whether you're Bryson Washington or anyone out there, got to make sure you hold on to the football and secure it through the end of the play, and that cost the Bears in the first half.
I mean, yeah, I think no disrespect to Air Force, but if you're playing a little better opponent, I really believe that could have gone a totally different direction. And so offense, number 1 priority, you got to take care of the football. You got to practice it in drills every practice, every week. It's something you can't overlook, especially at receiver position. You touch the ball 5-6 times a game maybe, and so when you have the ball in your hands, you gotta keep it secure, and you can't turn it over. And so I believe in the second half, our defense stepped up, started creating some turnovers, and so that turnover margin kind of narrowed down to even, I believe, or somewhere close to that. And so overall, you just gotta take care of the ball.
In that stretch, Air Force got a field goal to tie the game up at 3 apiece. That was early in the second quarter. Late in the first quarter, the 2 teams exchanged fumbles in a 15-minute span. The Bears coughed it up deep into Air Force territory. Air Force would give it right back to the Bears, and Baylor didn't need much to convert that into a field goal to regain the lead going into halftime.
51-yard attempt from left to right. Good snap, good hold. The kick is away. The kick is good by Isaiah Hankins. He hits from 51 yards out, and the Bears will go in at halftime leading by 3, 6-3 over Air Force.
Well, you hear that exciting play to end the first half. Unfortunately, just a 6-3 lead, but thankfully would not take the Bears much time to start reversing things in the second half. In fact, the Baylor offense embarked on 4 straight scoring drives to start the second half, and they got the ball coming out of halftime after that Isaiah Hankins field goal. And I don't know, Coach Aranda, both offensively and defensively, I don't know what was said at halftime, Bryce, but you noted it seemed to have worked.
Yeah, you come in at halftime and you expecting to receive the ball and you march it down the field and score a touchdown. That's best case scenario, and I think they responded really well coming out at halftime after a pretty disappointing first half, and so they definitely responded to that. And like you said, Aranda or those guys in the locker room must have had a good talk and kind of got things turned around. So just hoping you start the game that way, and that way you don't have to wait to the second half, because every opponent's different, and so you don't know if you'll have that much time to make up if you start fast in the second half.
Well, Baylor did start fast in the second half. 7 plays, 75 yards, and it was capped off by the first touchdown run of Bryson Washington's career.
A 6-yard gain for Bryson Washington. Again, his first action of the year, and he is doing some good things. Going to get another carry here. Through a hole to the 10, to the 5. Keeps his footing, and he's into the end zone. Welcome back, Bryson Washington. Touchdown, Baylor. A 19-yard run. Bears are in the end zone for the first time tonight.
Redshirt freshman making his first start for the Bears, goes over 100 yards on the game, gets the first touchdown of his career. And we talked about him in the first segment, Bryce, but you just get the sense this is going to be a guy we're going to see a lot more of. The coaches love him, and certainly showed a little bit of what he's capable of on day one for him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if you first game in, you get a 100-yard rushing game I'm really just excited to see him get more involved in the passing game, screen game. So there's a lot of upside to his play. And I'm just excited to see the coaching staff really utilize what he can do.
That made it 13-3. Baylor forces a 3-and-out against Air Force and gets right back to it. Sawyer Robertson and the running game's crisp, efficient in the second half. And this time it was Robertson himself finishing off a 7-play drive.
So 1st and goal for the Bears at the 6-yard line on the penalty. Bryson Washington in the backfield. Sawyer Robertson takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Sawyer Robertson will carry it in himself. 6-yard touchdown run by the Baylor quarterback. Bears have scored on back-to-back possessions to start the 3rd quarter.
You know, Sawyer Robertson, you don't think of his feet as much as you do with Daquan Finn, but we've seen from him a little bit of that ability, you know, to carry the ball himself. And, you know, Bryce, we really never saw him last year. We saw him out there, but he was injured in his first start against Utah. And whatever he was capable of, whatever freshman first-year starter Sawyer Robertson would have looked like at 100%, I don't know that we ever really got close to see that. Maybe we did tonight.
Yes, I mean, the quarterbacks I always went against, if they could throw the ball, that always made them dangerous. But if it's a quarterback you don't expect that can throw and run, the unexpected of a quarterback that can run can always hurt your defense. And so I think if Sawyer can capitalize on being able to make passes when he needs to make passes, but if he needs to escape the pocket and extend plays with his legs, I think that can be a really that could be a secret weapon of his, and that could be really utilized down the stretch of the season.
Bears weren't done. They get a field goal from Isaiah Hankins late 3rd quarter to make it 23-3. And the final scoring of the day came on the first play of the 4th quarter, a 28-yard burst by Richard Reese.
All right, here we go. 2nd and 5 as we begin the second half. Handoff to Richard. Reese gets to the corner. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Richard Reese, 28 yards to pay dirt. The Bears up their lead on the first play of the 4th quarter, 29-3 over Air Force.
Hey, Richard Reese, 8 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown on the day. Baylor went for 2, got it. That made it 31-3. And it was academic from there. Not much drama in the 4th quarter, save for a cat running onto the field late in the game. Bryce, were you there on the sidelines? Did you see that guy kind of surreptitiously trying to make his way onto the field?
I wasn't on the sideline for that, but I had a good view of him running around, and so I think that situation was handled well. I mean, I don't know if I was the cat. I don't know if I knew what was going on, but I think the whole situation was handled very well.
Pure adrenaline if you're the cat.
Absolutely.
At that point, right? You're on the field, people are screaming, you're
cheering
making your way
on.
He looked like a unit too. That was a big dude.
It was.
Yeah.
I know he made a big leap into the stands too, which was pretty impressive.
He did, yeah, very agile for the cat. Well, it all adds up to a 31-3 win for the Bears. That's Rewind on the Postgame Fan Forum. If you want to join in the conversation, you can tweet us using the hashtag BUFanForum, or you can leave comments on the Baylor Athletics Facebook, on Baylor Athletics YouTube channel. Rather, Bobby says our guys played a great game tonight, decisive win. That is true. Matt Wilson notes that Air Force did not employ a single aircraft on the field this evening. Thank you for that observation, Matt. Although the flyover before the game, it brought some thunder when they flew over. Now you felt that one. You know, there's some you feel more than others. That one was one I think everyone in the stadium felt.
I know. I always thought I'd love to be one of the volunteers to try to get on those planes and enjoy the flyover with the pilots, but I don't know if they let you do that.
I don't know if they do, but if they do, we'll see if we can see if we can make that connection. See if we can make that connection for you. Yeah, a few Air Force guys, obviously, a few Baylor guys in there as well. By the way, we got to acknowledge, you know, obviously we want to beat them on the field, but anytime you play a service academy, you're so impressed. You're going to root for them the other 364 days of the year. You know, as much as anyone, how much student athletes have to devote of their time and energy to do this well, and I think you even add a little bit. Well, I know you even add a little bit in the service academies.
Definitely, you have a huge respect for what those guys go through, not just in the classroom, but the way they serve and the way they conduct themselves on the football field and how they go about their life. I mean, really respect those teams and can't thank them for enough for what they do for our country.
Yeah, so a big sick'em to our friends at Air Force. Baylor 31, Air Force 3, the final score today. We're going to take a time out here on the Postgame Fan Forum. When we come back, we're going to take a look at other scores from around the Big 12. TCU lost, and we all celebrated that and more. When we come back after this, again, hashtag BU Fan Forum on Twitter, or you can comment on Baylor Athletics' Facebook page here on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
I'll be right back.
Complicated. Butts Law Firm is your one stop for a wide.
I'll put the ID in too.
Whether you need estate planning documents such as a will, trust, or guardianship, or the appointment of a receiver to handle personal or business assets management and disposal, consumer protection, family-related legal matters, or various business-related issues, we are your community firm. Whether you're planning for the future, navigating a probate, or managing a business, our experienced team is ready to guide you every step of the way. Trust us to provide the legal support you need. Call today. 406-641-BUTZ. That's 406-641-2889. Or come by the Waxahachie office at 301 South Rogers Street, Suite 202, downtown Waxahachie. Come see the difference having a trusted attorney by your side can make. Because at Butts Law Firm, your legal rights are our business.
Life moves fast. Your internet should move even faster. Connect, game, study, and do it all with Astound's hypersonic award-winning fiber-powered internet. It's a big deal. Call 1-800-4ASTOUND or go to astound.com to get internet for only $20 a month with a 2-year price lock. Plus, get a $100 Amazon gift card and add 5G unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Because reliable internet and better mobile is a big deal. Go to astound.com today. Restrictions apply. See astound.com for details.
At H-E-B, we know that game day is about more than the game itself. The taste of victory is unparalleled, but so is the taste of H-E-B jalapeno poppers hot off the grill. Seeing the best players in their prime is truly something to behold. So is an H-E-B Prime 1 burger that you grilled to perfection. For low prices on all the things that make game day great and delicious, visit H-E-B, your official game day headquarters, or use the My H-E-B app to start prepping for game day right away.
From the Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is KRZI Waco, K222DC Waco, K265DV Temple, ESPN Central Texas.
You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Coming up Wednesday evening, live at Rudy's, it has returned. It's going to be Michael Woodson from men's tennis, Glenn Moore from Baylor softball. They're going to be joining the voice of the Bears, John Morris, this coming Wednesday evening, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Yeah, they're going to be live from Rudy's, and it's a chance to hear all the inside scoop on all of our Baylor Athletics programs this season. So you can come on out to Rudy's. You can listen on our flagship station, ESPN Central Texas, or you can also watch, much like you can here tonight, on the Baylor Athletics Facebook page. A few stats before we get to scores. Baylor Athletics tells us on the feed for the Fan Forum that 2014 was the last time Baylor did not allow a touchdown in back-to-back home games. Bryce, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you remember what those games were? I'll give you a hint. You played in them.
2014?
2014.
No chance, I remember.
Yeah, okay. Excuse me. SMU in the opener.
Okay.
And then Northwestern State in the next game.
That's right. That's right.
Back-to-back home games without allowing a touchdown, and y'all won the Big 12 this year, that year. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe there's a correlation there. It's probably too early to say that. 1989 was the last year that Baylor had 2 games in which they allowed 3 points or less in the same season. So that's going back a ways. Air Force's 25 yards in the air are the fewest allowed by a Baylor defense since 1989, when Kansas could only muster 7. I wonder if it was the snow falling, the wind blowing that day, even back before the offenses really opened up. 7 yards passing in 1989. That's kind of hard to fathom. That's not a lot. And Bryson Washington is Baylor's first 100-yard rusher since the comeback win against UCF last season. Speaking of UCF, right as we were about to go on the air, they pulled off a comeback against TCU. The Horned Frogs led much of the way in this one, but UCF gets a field goal with under a minute to go up 35 to 34. And then they are able to survive a missed field goal at the end of the game from 58 yards. They knock off TCU in the first game this year that counts in the Big 12 standings, 35-34. Baylor plays TCU in November. UCF not on the schedule this year. TCU over 400 yards in the air. But the Knights continue to run the football well, nearly 300 yards rushing for UCF in that one. Just one other game ongoing right now. BYU all over Wyoming, 34-7. That is early in the fourth quarter. Other finals on the weekend. On Thursday night, it was Arizona State holding on against Texas State, 31-28. I'm not shocked that Texas State, we saw what they could do last year. Texas State making Arizona State earn it down there in San Marcos. I think, you look at the teams that entered the Big 12 this year. You got Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State. I think all the other schools, for various reasons, get more attention than Arizona State. They've struggled as a program a little bit, but they're going to enter Big 12 play with a 3-0 record. I don't know if you got to see any of the game last night. 14th-ranked Kansas State playing 20th-ranked Arizona in a non-conference conference game, much like Baylor and Utah last week. Kansas State beat Arizona 31-7. I wasn't surprised that Kansas State won at home, Bryce, but boy, they really put the whooping to the Wildcats, the other Wildcats.
No, Kansas State's always been a great competitor, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. UNLV upsets Kansas 23-20. Kansas is a team you'll see a number of people pick to get to Arlington if there's a healthy Jalen Daniels, but he struggled last night, and UNLV picked up their second win against a Big 12 team this year, 23-20. Kansas is playing their entire season away from their home field. When Baylor was building McLean Stadium, when you were part of the team, Bryce, they obviously didn't have to worry about location because totally different location than Floyd Casey, but Kansas has to build on top of their current location. So as such, they're playing their games at either Arrowhead Stadium or the Sporting KC Soccer Stadium this year. So no true home games for the Jayhawks. Finals today, Oklahoma State all over Tulsa 45-10. Cincinnati over Miami of Ohio 27-16. Texas Tech, their best all-around game so far, 66-21, the win over UNT. West Virginia blows a late 10-point lead, and they fall to Pittsburgh today, 38-34. Colorado, 28-9, a win over Colorado State in Fort Collins. That was a game that last year was really tight, but this year Colorado wins this going away. The other Big 12 final, Houston, and their intra-city rivalry with Rice wins it 33-7. We're going to talk more about it a little bit later on, but Bryce, that game against Colorado next week, it's big because it's the next one. It's big because it's the first Big 12 conference game of the year that counts in the standings. Boy, but for the Bears, if you could, I've kind of felt this year, if they get a little momentum going either way early in the year, it could continue that way as the season goes on. Now, I'm not saying if the Bears win that they're going to finish 11-1, but you win against Colorado, this team builds some confidence. This team would, in the process, have to shut down a good quarterback in, or at least slow down a good quarterback in Shedeur Sanders and their wide receiver Travis Hunter. It's going to be a big game for the Bears next week.
Yeah, I think a big point of focus this week is just try to control what you can control, focus on what you can focus on, and have these guys as a faceless opponent. Try to get better at what you guys are working on, get comfortable with the offense, get comfortable with the defense, and just really focus on us and not have to worry about there's going to be a lot of outside noise, a lot of distractions going into this game just with what Dion and that team brings. I mean, they bring a lot of excitement to college football. And so if our guys can stay focused at the task at hand and really just kind of focus about us and what we're trying to get accomplished and really just try to block out that outside noise, I think it could be a really good game for us.
A road win in Big 12 would be huge. Baylor was a little better on the road for last year for whatever reason, picking up those wins at UCF. And Cincinnati now trying to do it against a new Big 12 team. Of course, an old Big 12 rival, well, against Colorado. Both teams 2-1. You mentioned it. It's funny. I think the way that the two coaches in this game approach the media, Deion Sanders and Coach Aranda, about as different as it gets, right? I'm not saying one's wrong and one's wrong. I think that they both work for them. They both have their own flavor. Absolutely. About as different as it gets right there. That is going to be a night game coming up at 7 o'clock next week, nationally televised on Fox. All right, Coffee is for Closers coming up next. If you want to send us your thoughts for the car, the steak knives, the doghouse, you can comment on the Baylor Athletics YouTube page, or you can tweet us using hashtag BU Fan Forum. He's Bryce Hager. I'm Derek Smith. Aaron Sexton, our producer, and we'll be back after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Come see why Green Eye Associates is voted best in Waco year after year. Enjoy exceptional service and care from Dr. Leanne Green alongside her dedicated optometrist and staff. Receive trustworthy insights on your eye health, enjoy the impressive variety of contacts and eyewear, and work with the most experienced optical team in Waco. Don't miss the new state-of-the-art dry eye therapies that rejuvenate the eyes and face with safe, non-invasive treatments to restore comfort and quality of life. Green Eye Associates, official optometrist of Baylor Athletics.
Hey Baylor fans, Baylor soccer season is currently underway. Come be a part of the action at Betty Lou Mays Field all season long and watch head coach Michelle Leonard and the Bears battle against the best in the Big 12. Score your tickets for game day right now at BaylorBears.com/tickets. We'll see you at Betty Lou. Sick 'em Bears.
It's time for Coffee is for Closers. The car, the steak knives, the doghouse. Tweet your winners with hashtag BU Fan Forum or comment on YouTube or Facebook Live.
31-3, the final today. Baylor, a win over Air Force, and it is time for Coffee is for Closers, where we anoint the best performers and pick an area for improvement next week. Here's the way it works. If you are watching right now on the Baylor Athletics YouTube channel, you can comment your picks. The car goes to your top performer, the steak knives to your second best performer, and then the doghouse is an area that has to improve next week for the Bears to play the way they want to. I see Bobby B on there. Bobby B, we want your thoughts, and you can send them our way right now. All right, top performer, the car, Bryce. I'm going to go with Sawyer Robertson, stepping into the starting role this week and turning in, I would honestly say, one of the smoother played quarterback games we've seen in the last couple years for the Bears. 18 for 24, 248 yards through the air. On the ground, he added a touchdown, and just really a solid game all the way around for Sawyer Robertson, and I think fans are you're going to hear a lot of talk this week. Even as DeQuan Finn is day-to-day, fans impressed by Sawyer, and maybe a small thing, but never seemed rattled, right? The first half really didn't go the way he wanted it to. He led the team on a lot of solid drives that ended in fumbles that weren't his fault. Never seemed to phase it, right? It's it's all about just all about coming back that next drive, not pointing any fingers, and he just went back out there in the second half and did his job, and his teammates did their jobs as well, and the result was 25 second-half points.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quarterback's job, is keeping their composure throughout the game. Like you mentioned, there's guys who turned the ball over and kind of out of his control. But what did he do? He stepped up the next possession, and he tried to lead his team down the field, and I think he responded really well and kept his composure throughout the game.
What's your top performer?
My top performer, more so under the radar, I'd probably go with special team as a whole. I mean, last week, giving up a big block field goal for a touchdown and being able to respond this week with blocking a punt and kind of shifting that momentum early in the game, and that led to 3 points. And then anytime your punter's not punting the ball, that's a good day. And so overall, as special teams units, I think they really answered the bell coming off last week's game and creating some turnovers and keeping the punter off the field. I think they're my top guys.
Last week, Palmer Williams, 62.7 yards per punt. This week, he doesn't have to, so that's a good thing. And, Bryce, we'll check this out as the week goes on, but Baylor has quietly put together one of the most efficient special teams units in the nation for the first 3 games, even with that blocked punt last week. Notwithstanding, by the way, that blocked punt there, Caleb Parker got to it. It almost seemed like he and Josh White both got back there so quickly, they were able to almost decide who got to block the punt and then who got to pick it up, because they were both back there without anyone else really around them.
I know they did a great job. I just kind of wish they were focused on just scooping and scoring opposed to falling on the ball, because the worst thing that could happen is they don't get the ball and the offense falls on it. It's still a turnover on down. So you just try to fight to stay up, fight to scoop and score on those block punt situations.
Well, that was a 4-point play if they'd been able to pick it up, because the Bears had to settle for a field goal as it turned out. All right, now for the steak knives, and boy, this is close to being a 1A for me for the car, but I can't look past what Bryson Washington did in his first start. 12 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Just, very efficient, showed a little bit of burst, and I'm excited to see what he has ahead.
I mean, yeah, he did a great job. I love to see him get involved early. I love the fact he's a hard runner. He's able to catch the ball out of the backfield, create plays in space, and so I'm excited to see what he's got going forward, and I'm excited to see what the offensive coaches are going to have planned with him moving forward as well.
All right, now for the doghouse, an area that's got to improve, and I'm kind of putting a couple together that I think are aligned. I mean, Bryce, obviously ball security. You can't fumble 3 times. Probably can't even really afford to fumble once up in Boulder next week.
No, I mean, you got a team like Colorado, and you make mistakes like that. If we make 3 turnovers in the first half, it's going to be really hard to recover from that. So you've got to emphasize ball security early and often. It's got to be a point of topic throughout the game, not just the first opening kickoff. It needs to be throughout the whole game, and make sure you guys are always aware and talking about it.
Yeah, last week the Bears were down 23 to nothing at one point. This week it wasn't like that, but you're still talking about a 3-3 ball game late in the first half. That's just not going to play in Big 12 ball games as the year goes on. So hopefully the Bears can hold on to the football next week and build on a 2-1 start that on the whole some things to be encouraged about as you head into the game against Colorado next week. I mean, we talked about the defense, really just 1 touchdown drive that they've allowed so far, 1 long touchdown drive that they've allowed on the season. They've been very good, and I think what you saw from Sawyer Robertson in the running game today has to have you excited for next week as well. As Baylor takes on Colorado, we'll take our final timeout and come back and get you ready for that one here on the Postgame Fan Forum. Bears 31-3 winners today at McLean Stadium. We'll be back after this on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Jan from Toyota here. At Toyota's national sales event, there's still time to squeeze more fun out of summer with an exciting new Camry, RAV4, Corolla, and more. So go on, surprise yourself with how much you can squeeze into a Tacoma for a camping trip.
Mini fridge, hair dryer, and is that a waffle iron?
Yeah. Wait, do bears like waffles?
Squeeze your extended family into a Highlander for a family reunion.
All right, everybody in. Tammy, Teddy, Toady, Tommy, Toby, Terry. Wait, where's Rex?
Or stop for some fresh squeezed lemonade in a Prius.
Wow, that looks delicious. How much do I owe ya?
$15. I also accept crypto.
Okay, now that's a squeeze.
During Toyota's national sales event, qualified buyers can get 3.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2024 Tundra. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Offer ends September 3rd and is available in select states only.
Life moves fast. Your internet should move even faster. Connect, game, study, and do it all with Astound's hypersonic award-winning fiber-powered internet. It's a big deal. Call 1-800-4ASTOUND or go to astound.com to get internet for only $20 a month with a 2-year price lock. Plus, get a $100 Amazon gift card and add 5G unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Because reliable internet and better mobile is a big deal. Go to astound.com today. Restrictions apply. See astound.com for details.
It's Ram Power Days at Allen Samuels in Waco. Get the 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab with an incredible $15,000 off MSRP. Or drive away in a 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab with $10,000 off MSRP. A great selection with over 350 new to choose from. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Hurry into Allen Samuels in Waco today. First responders get an extra $500 off.
Come by. Let's be friends.
You're listening to Baylor Football. Baylor Football on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Conference play with a win over Air Force as we head into the final segment of Postgame Fan Forum. 31-3, the final today. The Bears over the Falcons. And Baylor 2-1, taking a win into conference play. By the way, Bryce looked good tonight in those anthracite uniforms. First time we'd seen those in a few years. I thought they looked sharp out there on the field tonight.
Oh, yeah, those are one of my favorites. Anytime you get those uniforms rocking, it brings a certain energy and a certain swag to not just the players but also the fans get excited about it. So I think that provided a lot of energy today, and so as long as we can keep that up, I hope to see those uniforms back again this year.
Yeah, well, keep your eyes out as we head a little bit later in the season. For now, though, our attention goes to Boulder, Colorado, their first year back in the Big 12. You know, when you talk about a Sanders on that team, Dion is who people think of first, but Shedeur Sanders is a very good quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12. They've got, a fantastic wide receiver in Travis Hunter. And, of course, Baylor didn't see a lot last week of Cam Rising after late in the first half, but that may be one of the better quarterback-wide receiver combos that this defense and secondary are going to have to go against and try to slow down this season.
Yeah, it's going to be, in my opinion, our first true test from the season. It's going to test Coach Aranda and his play calling and his just film study for this week. Have a really good quarterback, really good receiver. And so, like you said, it's going to challenge our DBs. It's going to challenge our pass rush to get to the quarterback to relieve some of that pressure off our secondary guys. And so this is going to be our first big challenge on both sides of the ball. Another away game. Got to steal away games and get those opportunities. And so I think our guys got to get locked in this week. A lot of outside noise is going to be presented to them. They got to stay focused, and I'm excited to see what next week what it has.
And you look here, Bryce, through non-conference now. Oklahoma State has been solid. Kansas State has, they struggled last week with Tulane, but won. I think, you look, those are two teams that still going to be everyone's trendy picks for Arlington. But and I realize as I say this, we're 3 games into the season, but you get off to a winning start in Big 12 play. Who knows what could happen? It feels like things are up for grabs, but if you want to make noise, if you want to get to 6 wins, if you want to get beyond 6 wins, you mentioned it, winning on the road, you're going to have to do it at some point. No, none of them are easy, but this is as good a chance as any, and not just because it's your next one.
Yeah, I mean, these are the games. These early games when teams are still trying to find their identity, still trying to find their groove of the season. These are the games you got to come out with a win. Because as the season goes on, teams get settled. They start finding out who they are, who they have, and from how the season is now until how it's going to end, it's going to a lot's going to happen. That's the beauty of college football. You think one team's going to go in there and stomp another team, and that rarely happens in college football, and that's what makes it so great. And so, as long as you get a win on the road and these early games of the season, a lot can happen, and hopefully we'll be excited in the season to see who's in Arlington.
Well, it's got a Big 12 play for the Bears is going to start next Saturday night, 7 o'clock, nationally televised on Fox. The Bears and the Buffaloes will be on the air at 5 p.m. with the Baylor Alumni Tailgate Show. John Morris, J.J. Joe, Ricky Thompson, they'll have the call at 7 p.m., and then Bryce and I will be on the air with the Fan Forum after. That'll be another late night, but hopefully talking about a win like we are again this evening. Well, thanks to all of you for being with us here late on this Saturday. Those of you watching on Baylor Athletics YouTube, we appreciate you, or listening in your car or wherever on ESPN Central Texas, our flagship station. Thanks for being with us this evening. Baylor 31, Air Force 3. The Bears get the win and improve to 2-1 on the season, heading to the Big 12 opener against Colorado. It's going to wrap things up. Speaking for our engineer, Bob Baker, and our producer, Aaron Sexton, I'm Derek Smith, alongside Bryce Hager. Thanks so much for being with us. Good night from McLean Stadium.
All right, guys, great job.
Of Baylor football on the Baylor.
Will do. Sick 'em Bears.
Game coverage has been brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, championship partner of Baylor Athletics. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance online to find a local agent today. Baylor Scott and White Health, the official hospital and healthcare system of Baylor Athletics. Your healthcare, your way. H-E-B, the official grocer of Baylor Athletics. Proudly serving Texans since 1905. TFNB, your bank for life. The official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Premier ER and Urgent Care. Feel better now.